The Thrive Coaching Network is living into its mission to catalyze disciple-making leaders to be living examples of a multiplication mindset. Disciples who are making disciples who are making disciples. We celebrate that we've experienced significant growth in the last few years, and our territory is continuing to expand. Today, we have certified coaches in North America, in Latvia, in Kenya, and we're currently engaged with a number of leaders in the Philippines. And we're just so blessed, and we are so excited by what God is doing in this kingdom season. And so I invite you to join me on the partner journey and to consider becoming a multiplication partner with the Thrive Coaching Network. I invite you to go to our webpage, to thrive3.org, and to click this link at the top of the page for the partner journey. It will provide you an opportunity to go through a self-guided tour that'll help you to dig deeper into our mission, some of the resources that we have available in terms of coaching and consulting and culture change, as well as to read stories of kingdom impact that are happening around the world, as well as what it might look like for you to consider becoming a partner with the Thrive Coaching Network in this season. You scroll down, you get a picture of the journey from what we've sensed God has been telling us about what we should do and how we should do it in terms of our mission, into the stories, the testimonies from leaders who are engaged in the process, as well as what it would look like for you to join us to go out on mission to equip leaders literally to the ends of the earth. So if you just click the active icons that are here on the right of the screen, they'll take you to the different sections of the journey. So the first one is all about our mission, catalyzing disciple-making leaders. And so if you go down the page, you just click the little buttons and it'll give you a little bit of a bigger picture. It will help you to understand, again, that the catalyzing of disciple-making leaders into a multiplication mindset is a paradigm shift. It's a paradigm shift from addition to multiplication. It's often a paradigm shift from scarcity to abundance in the kingdom. And it's also a shift from being fed to bearing fruit. Now, to help you to get a sense of how we help people to do that, we have a number of additional links and resources and tools that you can just dig into a little bit. So for example, here's a little brief video from me about talking about my own sense of understanding of that movement into thriving as a disciple-making leader. The next one is an opportunity for you to engage in one of our core resources for coaching, the core practices of following Jesus. It's something that we do live, interactive, using technology, but it's also available as an e-course. And this e-course has been very, very effective, not only domestically, but in particular in international contexts where time zones don't make it as easy for us to engage live. So we'll often have folks review these teachings, and then we debrief live face-to-face during a follow-up coaching session. If you want to see what some of those online experiences are like, you can click and we have some of those available. Here's a compilation of some of the teaching. Here's one that talks about the building of a vibrant or a disciple-making culture. And I really want to encourage you to dig into this one. This is the Disciple Self-Assessment. This is a free resource that we make available that invites you to answer 30 questions. It's right now available in 5 languages. And after you answer those 30 questions, it will give you a picture of your shape as a disciple of Jesus in terms of character and competency. And it'll invite you to compare your living example to the perfect example that was demonstrated in the life, death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So again, a number of resources for you to be able to understand not only our mission, but how we're equipping leaders in this season. Now, if you go back up to the top, you go to the next link, I want to see some stories. I want to see what's happening in different places. This particular link will take you to this section. And again, it's all about multiplication. And we have resources, stories of real-time activities that have been happening in the last year and that have been evolving over the last couple of years in areas of coaching, of consulting, and culture change. There's a host of them in North America, but in particular, I want to point you toward the ones that are taking place internationally. And so, for example, in Latvia, we've been engaging with the folks in Latvia for a number of years, and they're at a new level of the equipping process, where the key leaders that we have started with are now equipping other leaders, other churches, and the multiplication impact is starting to grow exponentially. So we encourage you to take a look at that particular story. The Kenya story is right now we're in our second group of leaders there, and we have multiple denominations that are engaged, and we just celebrate again that God seems to be bringing leaders, equippers for the coming harvest season. So we invite you to take a look at that particular story. The last one that I want to point out for you is the story in the Philippines. This one in particular is unique, and it's exciting because we've all experienced challenging times in the last few years, both personally, in our world and in our context, and in the church. And this story is a story of how the Holy Spirit is helping a large, organized church expand, even in the midst of the pandemic, to become an organic church. It's an organized and organic church that is seeing significant kingdom impact in their community. If you read it down through the story, it'll give you some very specific elements of what they've been learning and what they're stepping into as they're preparing to launch an entire learning community process for churches in their network. But in particular, I want to point out this one picture that you might miss. It just shows the change. It shows the movement of the Spirit of several years ago as the institutional church was facing challenges of not being able to engage, and how they responded with the missional church, with the organic church, and that is now multiplying and continuing to multiply and take root in the communities in the Philippines. Story after story after story of kingdom impact that I sense will touch your heart, and that will help you to get a bigger and better sense of what God is doing in this kingdom season. Go back to the top and you click the icon about become a partner. This just invites you to consider a host of ways that you could join us. We want to specifically invite you to consider being a prayer partner with the Thrive Coaching Network, to provide ear support for the multiple coaches and for the ministry on a regular basis. We covet and we desire you to be a prayer partner with us. If God is moving you to become a donor, we encourage you to consider that as well. And so there's an option for you to just pick what level of donation works best for you. And so pray through that and then simply identify that in the links that I'll show you in just a minute. Or you can consider being a bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or even a titanium partner. Those levels of partnership have obviously greater impact, especially as we seek to engage not only digitally, but also face-to-face with leaders in the Philippines, in Kenya, and to other places on the globe. Pray through what God would have you to do, and then just simply click the link. I'd like to be a prayer partner. Or maybe you want to be a prayer partner as well as a donor. So just click them both. And if God moves you and you'd like to have the maximum impact of your investment in the ministry, we would encourage you to print this one. Just print out the sheet that just gives you the instructions. You can fill it out and then put the check in the mail. And that, of course, would maximize your donation in terms of its impact inside of the ministry of the Thrive Coaching Network. We want to invite you. We want to invite you to be a partner, to join us in the partner journey, and to be with us as we continue to live into our mission, to catalyze disciple-making leaders who are living into a multiplication mindset, making disciples who make disciples who make disciples.